All right. All right, folks. What's going on? Morning. Welcome to another episode of the Profits in PJs halftime pre-market plan. Let's put on the glasses here. You know it's about to get serious. Let me just let folks in the Discord know that I'm on live, and then we'll jump right into this. Give me 1 second. And all right, let's get started. So, welcome in everyone. We literally just got PPI data like a couple of seconds ago. So let's go ahead and just pull up the chart since we have no time to waste. Not on a day like today. Let's go. Over here. Boom. All right, let's get into it. So as you can see, we, like I said, just literally got PPI data, which is the price or producer price index data. Pretty much gauges how inflation is going for manufacturers. We just got CPI yesterday, which led to this ginormous Hulk green 60-point candle, and then another 40 points intraday. And then just a second ago, we just got that PPI data. Now, just judging, but I haven't even seen the numbers. Honestly, I don't care what the numbers say, but judging by the candle, it looks like people didn't like those numbers for whatever reason, which is strange because typically when CPI comes out strong, or I guess weak, which is bullish for the stock market, usually PPI has a similar reaction like shortly after. But this time, it's not the case. So, despite this little pullback that we're having right now, the stock market is still severely off of the lows from this past October. Like, literally, you can just look at the chart and see this. So, sure, we got this little mini red candle, but the trend is still obviously up. Even just in this pre-market, the trend is still obviously up. And the trend has been going strong. I don't think I've really seen a rally this strong, like with this much momentum in this short amount of time since I've started trading. So it's a very interesting time. But with that being said, let's go ahead and actually jump into the plan. So first things first, what are some levels that I'm watching, scenarios that I'm watching, and where can the market head next? Well, I mean, as you all know, I'm a supply and demand trader, so of course I'm looking for, the next supply and demand zone that might be hit. And as you can see up here, if we zoom in, wait for it. As you can see here, if we zoom in, that next area of supply to come is around is around 45.60 up here. So that's kind of where I think price will gravitate towards. If you zoom out on the chart, you can also see that pretty much in like this whole little area here, right? If we bracket it off, there's not really much that has even happened to price since we dropped down, right? Over here, it was just a straight drop to the downside. Not much volume was traded on this drop. And because of that, there's going to be a higher likelihood that we just kind of like shoot through this, right? There's not much resistance. It's kind of like an air bubble, if you will. So it's going to be easy for us to, it's going to be easy for bulls to push price up into that. If they really want to continue showing their dominance. The same thing here. Like it just happened yesterday. Now, granted, yesterday we did have news, but look at this. See this ginormous candle? All right, just a straight drop down. Not too much volume was really traded here, just a straight drop down. And what do you know? As soon as we got into this area, which was yesterday, look how easy it was for us to move through it because we had a straight drop down previously. So I'm expecting a similar reaction today with this area over here as well. Right? Hope that makes sense. So what am I looking for today? Well, right now, the market's kind of in an awkward area. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Again, we're in between kind of zones. We're kind of in like no man's land. So it's gonna be kind of one of those days where you kind of have to come up with the level intraday based off of the tape, which I do quite often. But as you can see here, like all we have is the supply zone up above and then this demand zone down here. Everything else in between this is literally no man's land, which does unfortunately make the setups, if you take setups in this area, it makes them lower quality because there's not really any key levels here. There's not any areas of interest or anything like that. So it's more, if you choose to take trades in between here, it's kind of like 50-50, like, and obviously you don't want to do that because the odds aren't in your favor. Having a 50% chance of being wrong is not ideal. But with that being said, we're still going to mark some setups up right now. So let me come back down to the 30-minute time frame here, get our zones in frame, and then let me get my drawings. All right. So again, as you can see, we are getting a negative, slightly negative reaction to that PPI data. The good thing is that we can at least kind of mark off this upper wick that we got from the data, right? And then we also, again, have this demand zone down here, of course, and I'm going to be watching. So if we can get a strong enough pullback down into here, ideally, I'm going to be looking for bulls to defend this, right? For a bounce, at least back up into 45.15. Why 45.15? Well, if you look in the pre-market and if you're trading intraday, you can see that 45.15 has kind of served as a little bit of an area of support / resistance, right? So this is kind of what I would be looking for. If we did pull back into this 44.88 demand zone, I'd be looking for a bounce up into that 45.15 key area, right? Another possible scenario that we could have is kind of based off of the scenario we are looking at right now. But once, let's say, if we ended up pulling back into this 44.88 demand zone, we ended up getting a nice bounce out of it. This could be a nice area for shorts to reload their positions, especially given the fact that it's right around that 50% halfway point from this upper wick here, right? If you just kind of like roughly draw out like a little, I don't even know what you would call this, a range, if you were to quickly draw out this range casually, you can see here that that blue line at 45.15 is roughly halfway, the halfway point from this upper wick and this demand zone. So this is also kind of a nice area if you were a short seller, if you were trying to short the market intraday, this would be a nice area for you to reload your short at as well. So that's also another scenario that I'm looking for. Now, if we can undo this last one. All right. The last scenario that I'm going to be looking at today, of course, is one that involves us moving to the upside, right? So let me go ahead and screenshot this chart real quick so we can save it for later. Okay. All right. So lastly, what am I going to be looking at? I'm looking at one of two scenarios that involve moving to the upside, not including the one that we drew that, kind of looked like this. Not this one. But what am I watching? I'm watching for us. Let's go ahead and get out our little casual 45.15 support here. This is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm looking for us to get a pullback into this intraday, maybe break a little bit below it to trap some people over here under these like pre-market low wicks. So we can maybe even get a little pullback into like 45.10. But then what I'm going to be watching for is bulls to step in, say nope, and we end up moving to the upside at least above this high of day at 45.40, but ultimately for a move up there into 45.60 supply. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the bullish side. And this is scenario number 2. All right. Hope this one makes sense as well. It's going to be a pretty simple pre-market plan today. I think a lot of people, when they come into these or watching anyone live for that matter, they think that a lot of the setups kind of have to be like super elaborate. Oh, I'm watching for this, like complicated scenario, blah, 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 blah. But that's really not what trading is even all about, bro. Trading does not have to be complicated. What makes trading hard is ultimately, honestly, us making it hard, right? Us not following our rules, doing all kinds of crazy things that aren't in our trading plan. That's what makes trading hard, is being disciplined. Not really the charts themselves, as I'm sure you all have seen at this point. So with that being said, let's go ahead now and type up our setups that we're actually looking for in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord, be sure to join. You can find that link, and I think on my YouTube profile, also on my website, www.flexfinancials.com. You can join straight from there. It's 100% free. All right, so let's go ahead and hide this thing. Can I zoom in? Because this banner is definitely blocking you guys. Is there a way? Oh, I can. All right, let's go. So let me move it up though, like this. And then we should be good. All right. So let me go ahead, copy my little template for the aesthetics, and then we will formalize our plan that we just made. And also let me expand this. All right. Yes, and SPY, what are we watching for today? First things first, to the upside. Oops. To the upside, and then to the downside. All right, so to the upside, what do we say we're watching for? First things first, I will be watching for pullbacks into 45.15 to be defended. If so, I will be open to playing longs, right? It's never guaranteed, just open to playing the longs. Playing longs, targeting, what did we say? First 45, 40 above. The reason for 45, 40 above is because of that high of day that we made off of the PPI data this morning. So first I'm going to be watching targeting 45, 40 above, and then 45, 60 supply above that, which is our ultimate target that I personally will be looking to take profits at. Oh, and then we also forgot about the other scenario. I also will be watching the 44 now, 44.88 demand zone below for pulls to defend this as well. We could see a bounce into 45.15 from this area. All right. Now, what are we watching for to the downside? Let's see. I will be watching for what is even our, let's go back to the chart real quick. Sorry, this is a pretty raw stream. Okay, so our high kind of from yesterday was 45.24 up here. And it looks like, yeah, all right. So pretty much what I'll be looking for is kind of weakness in this area here. If we can't stay above like this 45.15 level, kind of the opposite of what we were talking about this morning, if we are supported by this area, pretty much I'll be bullish. But if we start coming down, rejecting below this, and then we get like one of these for a move lower, like that's very bearish to me, obviously. So this is kind of what I'm going to be watching for. Like if this green box that I just drew starts serving as resistance once we breach below it, then I'm just going to be looking for shorts. So let's go ahead and put that now in writing. So I will be watching for weakness below the 45.25/15 area. If sellers breach this and continue to defend it, serving as resistance, I will be open to playing short, targeting 88 demand below. All right, all makes sense. At least I hope so. So finally, one last little run through for you all. What are we going to be looking for? What setups are we watching? Oh my gosh, why won't it zoom in? Gotta do it the manual way, I guess. Okay, so first things first, we're going to be watching for something like this. A break below this area, a little retest of this area, ultimately for a move down. This is the bearish scenario, right? I always like to use supply and demand zones as my targets. So if I'm in a position short, then I'm going to be looking to short into demand. I want to be taking profits down here. On the flip side, let's move to the bullish scenario, which looks like it's low-key playing out right now. It's still early, but right now it looks pretty good. We get this lower wick coming into this box that needs to be defended by bulls. So at least right now in real time, it looks pretty good. But anyways, the bullish scenario, what am I looking for? I'm looking for one of two things. A pullback into here, which we're literally getting right now, for a move higher. One, past high of day, but ultimately into this supply zone. So I'll even draw like a little mini arrow here. So you could potentially take profits like at this area first, and then if we continue moving higher, take profits up above at that supply zone. The other area that I'm looking for is a pullback again into this area, and then us getting a bounce back up into this box 45.15 area. All right, makes sense. And yeah, I would say that's pretty much all that I'm watching for today. So yeah, this was a pretty quick stream this morning. If you are in the Discord again, I'll see you all there. You'll see my plays in real time if I do end up taking any trades. And to the rest of you, or just anyone who's trading today, good luck. Stick to your rules. Be disciplined, because we all know the pain that comes from not doing that. And I will see you guys when the market opens.